In this episode, you'll hear my guest interview on the Energetic Business Summit, where I was invited to speak with the host, Bree Boucher, about energy, intuition, and creating a soul-aligned business. And that was the message that I really wanted to bring through. So we explored the role of energetics in business, not just conceptually, but more as something that you live, breathe, and embody as part of your path, which is very much me. Maybe you're someone that already does some kind of spiritual work, is a practitioner, has a business, or it's something you would just love to do or you've been thinking about. Or you're just a soul person and you just feel that calling to put more soul into what you do, no matter what that is. This conversation offers clarity, calm, inspiration, and just a kind of window into that world, from my perspective at least. We dive into how to reconnect with yourself when things feel scattered or off, how to let intuition shape your offers and direction or just any part of it all, and what it means to build something sacred, authentic, aligned, rather than the opposite. If you've ever felt like other ways of doing business is just not for you, then you're in the right place because there's so much noise out there in the business world and also in the spiritual world as well. And from my perspective, it's about gently returning back to your own truth. So here's the full conversation. I also share a link at the end to a free mini course with a guided meditation, which is a simple way to come back to center. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Energetic Business, which is part of the Bluepreneur Summit series. I'm Bree, your host of this series, and we are going to be exploring how soul-led entrepreneurs do business differently. Let's get into our very first question. What's one sacred practice, tool, or belief that quietly shapes the way you show up in business that most people wouldn't know about?
There is a standout statement that I learned directly from Doreen Virtue many years ago when I did my angel intuitive training. So for those who don't know, she was a well-known angel expert who had published many best-selling books with Hay House. And she also played a pivotal role in waking up many lightworkers to step into their true gifts and become more confident in who they are and the work that they do and preparing them for their higher calling. There was one particular phrase that she taught that helped me so incredibly much, and that was, when you get nervous, focus on service. This one mantra really served as a guiding belief for me. I really feel like the angels were very much behind it. It helped me move through so much fear, self-doubt, and overthinking, even procrastination and the old imposter syndrome. And I just used it over and over. It majorly carried me through those early stages of showing up, not only privately with clients one-on-one, but also publicly in all sorts of different shapes and forms. By saying the phrase, I'll say it again if it helps. When you're nervous, focus on service. It's got a nice little rhyme there, which is quite signature of the angels, actually. They like to rhyme and play on words, but it really has such a profound meaning because it really showed me that instead of hiding, freezing, over prepping, or trying to perfect things, it helped me connect with a higher energy and tune into the wider purpose and focus outward on the broader scale, on helping and serving. So it formed a kind of quiet backdrop principle, if you like, a higher modus operandus, and a more soul-aligned foundational operating system. So it really just made me go more outside of myself. And instead of freezing out of fear of performance or the unknown, I rather just melted into the higher energy. And this became my own kind of way of soul being. And then in future after that, I was able to speak from soul, and it reframed any kind of nervousness, which does pop its ugly head up from time to time. And I was just able to channel it into more of a higher way, like a universal divine connection. And so that helped me shift back into alignment whenever I felt any kind of moment of stumble or hesitation. It was easy just to reroute myself and recalibrate into soul being, if you like, which is easier to do when, especially if you're quite connected to energy and intuition, which develops over time, and especially working professionally in those fields. So, from my very first paying client, when I was nervous as heck for weeks, to being interviewed by a well known public figure on a big show to a large audience, it helped me do the work that I came here to do and stay more open to the wider possibilities, if you like. And it also validated a higher truth that I could step into, that my own soul essence and deep feeling of spiritual purpose wasn't necessarily about me and my human foibles, but more about those that I'm here to serve, and the knowing that we are all a part of the one divine source. And that just keeps me on track and aligned every single time. And so now, years later, I don't really say the phrase anymore as such, but it's more of the mindset that has taken shape and stayed with me, or it's matured and imprinted within me. It's allowed me to come into my own and move deeper into my soul self. And it's almost like I've embodied it into my energy system, and it guides me into the way that I show up and helps me actually show up. It's connecting from a deeper place that is in the space in which people on the spiritual path deeply resonate with in return and feel through the words. And so when I feel unclear or hesitant or out of alignment, I just come back to that same essence and guiding principle, focusing on the energy and the core message that I'm here to bring, whatever that may be. I just allow and trust the process, and also trust that it will just land wherever it's needed. And I guess the universe, or God and the angels, they'll do their work behind the scenes to allow whatever parts of the message to reach into whoever needs to hear it.
I love that mantra that you shared. I'd never heard of it, but it makes so much sense. And what a beautiful thing to hold with you when you're nervous, focus on service. So good. And I love that you shared that it's turned into a bit more of a mindset rather than a mantra for you now. So that's really cool. I guess let's talk a little bit about business. And I'd love to know, what does a soul aligned business actually feel like for you as a creator, as a intuitive, all of those good, beautiful things. What does that look like for you?
A soul aligned business for me feels grounded, intuitive, and very honest. So it feels like home to me. It has this soul feeling of being at home because you're being your authentic self. And it doesn't really matter if you're a hairdresser in the mainstream, following your natural talents, inkling and calling, like whatever job you're doing, or whether you're an actual spiritual practitioner of some kind, a creative or a soul-led entrepreneur out there in the space. For me, a soul-aligned business feels like you're coming from a higher, deeper, more real place and space. And there's no perfect here. You can float in and out of being in this kind of soul aligned state. I've really questioned myself like crazy. You still feel lost, confused, frustrated, and go through all the ups and downs like anyone else. We're not talking about hierarchy or perfection at all. The difference is, I think, that you always somehow reroute yourself back to source, back to passion, back to self, soul, connection. So it becomes this kind of homeostasis for how you think, breathe, become inspired, create, and act. And I think the difference too is when you speak about act as an action, it's not act as in performance. There really is a vital differentiation there, because when you're in soul alignment with self and business, it's based on authenticity rather than ego or facades. And it comes in and out in layers, because we also have layers of authenticity, and we have layers of working through things as we walk along the path of business, which very much can blend into your personal life as well. So, having a soul alignment, I think, is really about intention and being authentic in the moment. And that can change over time as you peel back the layers and go through your own kind of self healing journey as well. So I think really number one is valuing authenticity and trusting yourself rather than all these things that are out there, like people telling you how you should run your business and what you should be doing and every piece of it. There's so much noise out there and a lot of preconceived or hype, cookie cutter type expectations and approaches to business. And this even runs into ideas of what success is as well, and having your own sort of notion of what that means for you. So for me, soul success is really connected to being more aligned with soul rather than trying to prove myself. But only you, yourself, or each person will really know what a soul aligned business looks like and feels like for them. But the one thing I think that might be more common across the board is that other people who are also soul aligned individuals in whatever way, shape, or form, no matter where they are on their path, will recognize, value, and really appreciate and be naturally and rather than falsely drawn to you, drawn to your business. There's some kind of synchronicity there that falls into place when you put your authentic dedication and sort of energy soul signature into it in an authentic way. So when you align with your soul in business, you feel home in what you do. It feels calm, natural, exciting, familiar, but by the same token, you're also thrown into the abyss of the unknown a lot and challenged, taken out of your comfort zone. And so that's where alignment really is everything, because when you're out of it, everything feels off and chaotic, and it can be a downward spiral very rapidly from there. So for me, I feel best in alignment when I'm in integrity with my own values, working and living at my pace and not feeling rushed or pressured or anything like that. And when I feel like I'm just in this kind of open, spacious feeling in the energy of the work and myself and the space around me, and that also helps my own capacity to create. So it's a constant kind of recalibration between a feeling of purpose and the capacity, like what can I hold? So when you're in alignment, everything really unfolds with a lot more ease and flow, and there's a sense of openness and allowing, and the people, timing, and ideas just seem to land naturally.
Oh, absolutely. So, what about the flip side then? What do you find helps you return to your inner clarity when things feeling overwhelming, scattered, or maybe just energetically feeling off track? What do you do? What do you recommend other people do?
Yeah, I just find that when I try too hard and push through the fog, it totally backfires. It's like working against the tide. So everything then just feels so heavy and I get all this resistance and pushback. And then I just end up feeling super stressed, scattered, overwhelmed, and all those things. And it can be really depleting and exhausting. So over the years, I've just honestly learned to stop, strip back, and slow down. It's what works best for me personally. I rest whenever I can, take it easy, go for walks, get fresh air, spend time in nature and in the sun, because a lot of light is coming through the sun and it's really helping us on so many levels. And it helps you reground as well, to be out in nature. And that helps me feel replenished again, even if it's in small doses. And we've all got busy lives and there's always things you have to do, whether you're running around with your kids or for work or whatever. So it's just about doing what you can. But I just find peeling everything back and simplifying as much as possible is so incredibly helpful. And it always helps me skyrocket again. So I guess I could minimalize in order to maximize. So this is when less equals more. And depending on what's going on, I just pull everything back, including my own energy. I clear my energy. I do whatever energy work or visualization that I intuitively feel to clear, like whatever's lingering, any kind of static in my system, which is different and according to how I feel at the time. Like that's harder to do if I feel tired or unwell. So I just wait till I feel right with it. And I just have a much needed reset. And there's different ways that I can do that outside of the energy. Sometimes it's just something like just changing something like breaking out of a routine. I find that really helpful as well as like shifting you out and changing your timelines. But really, the biggest thing in all of that is just sitting in stillness and just being and just allowing. This always helps me come back to me. So I come back to my center and positively distract myself, or sometimes as in a bit of Netflix or playing a game or something, just to shift things a bit and shift my attention and perspective into more simple things and slower daily living. It's when I feel more natural and like in a more neutral territory. And this also helps me to more swiftly tap back into higher consciousness, and because it really is about the simplicity, and I just allow whatever needs to fall away or to rise, whatever needs to be. And then in that more relaxed space and state of consciousness and spaciousness, you just enter this more expansive state. And that's where more clarity and answers come. And it's like space just opens up and the right next step just drops in. You get your intuitive inspiration and downloads, and that's when I know that I'm aligned again.
Amazing. So, what role do you think energy and intuition play in how you make aligned decisions or even shape your offerings? And as a follow-up question, how do you actually create energetic space, whether it's practically or spiritually, for your offers to come through clearly and intuitively?
At this stage, I think, as just a follow on from being a healer and intuitive for so long now, energy and intuition play a massive role in everything I create. And I honestly can't separate them from my business or decision making process. They're really interwoven into the whole experience. So I think that because I breathe spirituality into my everyday life experience, everything melds together. And so when I create from divine inspiration or when I am creating from something that I've planned with my head, either way, what I find is that intuition or energy will somehow just come into it. Because I've certainly just created out of my head before without energy or intuition or intention, but those just don't seem to work out the same way. So a lot of the time I do have ideas lined up and a massive to-do list and a broader structure that needs to make sense, especially with how everything connects. But even then, I still try to give space for the deeper energy of the offer to come through. And that's very much how I work now. And you really develop this really as you go along. So you can start to get a sense and a feel of the right timing, the angle, or missing pieces that need to come together. And it's not always clear or smooth, but I do recognize when I need to slow down enough to reconnect and tune in. And that's when the energy feels more clean, aligned, and true. And that's what I resonate with. So it's really important to me rather than just trying to pump something out. For me, everything ideally starts with energy first. So before I create anything, and this is ideally speaking, and before I put anything out there, I feel into it. I at least spend a moment with it. I sense the energy of the offer or the idea or whatever nudge is coming through. Sometimes it's really subtle, and other times it's super strong, or I just get a really clear download. Often I feel when something is aligned, it's like a sense of inner knowing and a pull or a magnetism towards it. And it just feels really honest and connected and true. That's how I know that I need to act on it, and the timing will often come through. And sometimes I ask for a sign, which can be really helpful too, just to get that extra validation. And when things are misaligned, it feels the opposite to that. It's sticking a square peg in a round hole and nothing seems to be working out. And it's a pretty horrible feeling, and you feel a lot of pressure. But I've learned not to force things when the energy feels murky or heavy. It's usually a sign I need more space or something else needs to be sorted in the interim. So I just create that space intentionally. And I do that by usually just pulling back my energy, unplugging from the noise, and doing the reset and the stuff I talked about prior. I just do whatever I need to clear and ground my energy and just return back to the stillness. And that's where everything just comes together every single time. And that can be one moment of stillness or extended periods. This could go on for days or weeks, or just be 1 hour or 5 minutes. But in that stillness, that's the deep, quiet space where my intuition can actually speak and come through. And as frustrating as it can be, though, especially because I'm an Aries, I really want to actually plow through head first. But I've learned it's worth the wait. And that's really when the best work comes through. And you can notice the difference. Sometimes I will journal and get that energy going, or I'll do intuitive writing and just tap in deeper and allow that energy to unfold and the messages to come through. Other times I'll meditate or ask my guides or angels to show me. And at the right time, I'll get whatever imagery nudges or downloads, and then I just anchor into that. It's usually in the calmer, slower, and more open moments. That's when the ideas and the offers and even just elements like the names or the structures come through, or how to arrange a module, for example, in a course and things like that. It just comes through me when I'm more attuned or the energies are more aligned, and then off I go. That's when I know I'm not just creating from the head, but also from the soul. And that's always the vital piece, because really it's energy first, but also soul first. And that energy, I believe, is what the right people truly resonate with.
I love that. So much of what you shared, I totally resonate with as a Aries as well, wanting to just plow through things and having a massive to-do list, lots of things that we're creating from our head. But I love what you said about needing to slow down enough just to tune in, to get the sense of the energy of the offer, of what you're doing, what you're working on, unplugging from the noise, returning the stillness. Yeah, I love that. I definitely, for myself, find that if I don't go for a walk regularly, I'm just not getting that moment where I'm like stepping out of my busy work and out of my brain work. And that's where, for me, that's my stillness. That's where my downloads come in, and that's where the intuition starts to flow. Yeah, so love that you shared that with us. Thank you so much, Natalia. I would love to hear from you about your freebie that you're sharing with us. If you can tell us what it's about and where we can find you, and if there's any last moments of wisdom that you would like to download today, please do. But it's been fantastic talking with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bree. It's been a real pleasure to be here and to share this space with everyone. About my freebie, if you're looking for a simple way to come back to your center, I have a free mini course called 5 Minutes to Calm, Clear, and Connected. It includes a short, helpful guided meditation practice you can do every day or anytime you feel scattered, off track, or disconnected from yourself, because that happens to us all. It's designed to help you enter a clearer, more peaceful headspace and reconnect with your spiritual self in just a few minutes easily. And it also includes some short teaching videos too. You can access it for free at spiritualcourseacademy.com/courses/5 minutes. And my main website is nataliakuna.com, where I have over 200 spiritual and self-development articles, my podcast, Spiritual Soul, and all the details about me and my one-to-one Zoom sessions, which include intuitive readings, energy work, and spiritual coaching. And I've got a vast array of soulful packages that you can explore. And then from there, you'll also be able to check out my online school called Spiritual Course Academy, where you can find free and paid courses and other resources. There'll be many more offerings coming down the track to support you in deepening your spiritual path, which is what I'm all about, reconnecting to your energy and navigating your life with more clarity and alignment, accessing your intuition and all that stuff. Really, it's just about coming back to soul and coming back to you. So I'm just going to end with this little note that I wrote. Sometimes the most powerful shift doesn't come from doing more. It comes from just breathing for a moment and returning to your own energy, to your core. And I encourage you to go there to that deepest depth, as that is where you find your truth and when you can connect to the all.
Natalia reminded us that business alignment doesn't always come from doing more. It often comes from simply coming back to yourself. Her practice of tuning into stillness and trusting energy before action is a powerful invitation for all of us. Your actionable takeaway: give yourself 5 quiet minutes today, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and ask, what part of me is calling for connection right now? No fixing, no forcing, just presence. To help you return to that place of calm and clarity anytime you need it, Natalia's free mini course, 5 Minutes to Calm, Clear and Connected, offers a beautiful meditation and short teachings to bring you back to center, no matter how scattered your day feels. And remember, this isn't just about listening, it's about integrating.